Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach Dresch. Zach recently re-recorded the show open and close. You're asking, but why, Dave? Sounds like usual. If you listen closely, you know why. Welcome the newest sponsor of the show, Trio Jazz Club in beautiful and historic downtown Sioux Falls, across from the Washington Pavilion, nestled between Bricks Wine and Maribella's. Besides hearing about Trio Jazz Club each week, we'll also bring you the Trio calendar each week, so you can keep track of what's coming up. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. This show, however, fun show today. USF senior Hope Dunkle stopped in to tell us about her senior project, a play she wrote and is directing. Then Dan Heir from Fellowship Jazz Center talks about tonight's live and local show at the Pavilion. They're collaborating for a cabaret-style show with Good Night Theater Collective. And speaking of GNTC, their very own Jess Johannsen caps our conversations as she gives us the vocalist's perspective. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Whatever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking it out of might very well be determined by where and when you're listening. My choice, a Jasper Newton. Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime, oh yes, it's my regular. But for you, depending upon what time again, might be a cup of coffee. Maybe it's a spot of tea, a glass of milk, bottle of water, mug of beer, a cocktail, a glass of wine, or a flute of champagne. Lift it high and toast it to new and exciting. For me, it's a new and exciting audio production project that's going to be taking place throughout the whole year. Hopefully, each of us can find something new and exciting this year. Now, you could easily add the word fun to that. Hopefully, that will keep the excitement going, even if it might not be new. So cheers to you! New, exciting fun. Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers, West 12th Street and Ellis Road. Chasers has great food and beverages, and on Monday nights at 7 we play Dave Holly Hour Trivia. This coming Monday, the 20th of January, something big going on that day. Join us for No Presidential Stuff Trivia. Honorable mention. So what over the past week made Dave laugh, guffaw, chuckle, chortle, giggle, simply smile, or maybe even shed a tear of joy? Well, it was lots of laughter. Saturday night, I had the privilege of hosting the 2024 Funniest Person Contest. Absolutely great sets from our local and regional comics. Congrats to Jacob Womack from Brookings for earning the title. Tough competition all around, but Jacob brought down the house. Crowd loved him. You'll love him too if you ever get a chance to see him, of which I highly recommend. Later in the show, drummer Dan Heir, then vocalist Jess Johannsen. In just a moment, playwright and director Hope Dunkle on the Dave Holly Hour. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family. Are you ready to showcase your creativity and connect with a vibrant community of makers and shoppers? Then join Serendipity Studio at the Atrium Makers Market every weekend. They're looking for unique, handcrafted goods, art pieces, and locally made products. Don't miss this opportunity to share your passion and grow your audience. Limited spaces available. Apply today at serendipitystudiosd.com. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts in the historic Shriver Square building, downtown Sioux Falls.
It's the podcast that creatives in the Sioux Empire listen to so they can learn more about other creatives. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, we're into another week of great entertainment conversations. Great entertainment for that fact, too. And from the University of Sioux Falls, she is two different names now. First time we had her on, she was Hope Dunkle. And now she's actually H.E. Dunkle, as she has made her way into being a playwright. And Hope has her senior project at the University of Sioux Falls, which is a one-act play that's coming up. So first of all, welcome back, Hope.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, always great to have you here. And so tell us, in terms of Finding Godot, that is the name of your play that you've written.
Yes.
What's our premise on this?
Okay. So bear with me. It's a little weird, but
I like weird.
Thank you. I've gotten a lot over the years, of working on it. Being able to talk about it has gotten a lot easier because I'm like, oh, wait, this is actually okay. But Finding Godot is set in a world where for the last 40 years, humanity has not been able to commit acts of evil because there's this entity, her name is Godot, and she is able to telepathically communicate and with humanity, and she's able to talk to them and keep them from committing evil. So, and the way she defines evil is anything that would hurt a human's mind, body, or soul. So basically it's a really good world, but there is a young man by the name of Lucas who he is not able to hear Godot. He is something called a silent. So he can't hear Godot. Godot can't hear him. So he is capable of committing evil, and as such, he has been ostracized from humanity a little bit. But he has been studying Godot and her work in history in college. Mm-hmm. And the premise of the play is he has crafted a theory that Godot is a real person that exists physically in the world, that she's not just some ethereal being, but she's a real person. And he wants to go and meet her in person. He wants to find Godot so that he can have that heart-to-heart with her that everybody else gets. He wants to have that connection with this entity that has saved humanity.
Oh, very interesting.
Thank you.
Where'd the thought for this pop out of?
So it originally, the very first idea popped into my head about New Year's Eve, my freshman year. College was a very interesting transitioning from me, because I went from being homeschooled before high school to being at a small Christian private high school in high school, and then going to it's still a private Christian university, but it is had a wider diversity of people, mm-hmm. backgrounds, things like that. And one of the classes I took was part of the honors program. It was just our normal LAR 211 class, and the theme for that semester was do not fear and love thy neighbor. And ways we explored that theme was by looking at art and how the world is perceived through art, and how a lot of humanity's evilness has impacted art. And it just really, it made me sit there a lot of times in class, and I was like, man, humans are kind of just bad people. And it was like, no, duh. But that it just, for some reason, that really, like, kept weighing on me for that whole semester. And it got to the point where, like, I kept hearing about, like, world events and things like that. I started to become more aware of the world around me. And I was like, and the world that I'm growing into. And I was like, dang it, I wish I could just, like, control everybody in the world so that there was no evil and we'd have no problems anymore. And the second thought I had immediately after having that thought is, that is unhealthy. That is not appropriate. But what happened after that thought was my brain generated what now is the last 30 seconds of the play.
Oh.
Yeah. So I didn't know who these characters were, how they got there, but I knew what they stood for. And they haunted me for the next year and a half, because every time I tried to write about, like, even just that 30-second snippet, I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right. So then honors thesis time rolls around, and I'm like, you know what? This story is still weighing on me. I want to try and tackle it. So I decided to write a play that would lead up to the 30 seconds of that image that I saw.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all for 30 seconds.
Yeah. When I gave my honors thesis presentation, I described Finding Godot as it's 11 scenes. Scenes 1 through 10 set up a hypothetical world, and then scene 11 is me asking the audience a hypothetical question. So because I knew, because of the nature of the premise and how, like, quote unquote out there it is, I was like, okay, my world building has to be, like, rock solid. I can't ask the audience this question until I set up enough of the world where they're into it. And I think I finally managed to do that. It was a little bit there by draft 3, but draft 4, which is the version that we're putting out right now, I think I'd like to think I got it figured out.
All right. So you have this as part of a senior project.
Yes.
And, you know, I still can't believe that you're a senior now.
Yeah.
After the first time that we had you on the show, and now this is your third time here. How many plays have you written now?
Let me think.
That is the mascot, Charlie. Yes. He can, you know, start being quiet at any point, but, you know, he feels as if he's the mascot of everything that is Big D Entertainment, the Dipsy Doo Production Studio, the Dave Holly Hour, let's see, what else do we have? The Vaudies, everything. He's got to be mentioned. All right. So, getting back.
Okay. Let me think. Okay. Collegiate-wise, that's the only thing I've really written. I wrote one, like, 5-minute little skit for a church youth camp. But for college, I've written a 10-minute play that was performed for Playdate 3, which happened my sophomore year. And then I wrote The Inchworm and the Albatross, which was a one-act play that was read at the Festival of New Plays, it was for the Premieres too, but I think it was the first Festival of New Plays. No, it wasn't.
Regardless, you wrote it.
Yeah, I wrote it. That's important. And then I wrote Finding Godot and my MCAP one-act kids camp script, A Night in the Woods, at the same time.
Oh, wow.
I'm not planning on writing 2 plays at once again. It was a great learning experience.
Right.
And then over the summer, I wrote A Collapsing Atlas, which was part of this year's Festival of New Plays for the Premieres.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Whew.
Yep.
You stay busy.
I did, yep.
Yeah, no doubt about that. What thrills you about the writing part? Because I know at any university, if you're going to be involved in theater, there's going to be a lot. I mean, you're going to be in props, you're going to be in set design, everything at some point, because they want you to have a well-rounded look at what you're getting into for life. And so what made the writing stand out for you?
Well, I wasn't really interested in playwriting until about my sophomore year when I took our playwriting class, but I'm an English and theater major, so the two interests were eventually going to collide. And I realized just playwriting is, because one of the things I struggle with, like just writing normally, is taking the picture that I see in my head and translating it into like characters' internal dialogue, internal monologue.
Yeah.
And just describing scenes like that. But with theater, it's like I can just say he's sitting at a desk, and that's all that matters, because it's the words that they're saying that are the important part. The word, like, he sits at a desk, is just helping set the scene, literally. So taking and being able to, because I'm able to generate character dialogue a lot more naturally than, like, talking about the set or, like, the passing of time or things like that. So that had just naturally fell into something that I was like, oh wait, this actually kind of rocks. This is cool.
What's in the making then for another play?
Well, I had an idea for a script that I wanted to write for the premieres last year, but about a week before the initial deadline, before they moved it from July 1st to July 10th, I was looking at it and I was like, this is not ready. Like, it's a story that I want to tell, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get it to the point I want to get it at by the time they want the script. And I was like, I need to get it ready. So I put that one aside and wrote all of Collapsing Atlas in a week. And then they moved the deadline and it was like, okay, so then I was able to get another few drafts in. But so that one is, I mean, if I have any downtime this semester, I might go back to that one. But that one's one that I'd like to see come to fruition within the next coming years or so.
All right. What about more than one act? Have you thought about delving into that in terms of a full play?
Kind of, yes. Actually, when I first started writing Finding Godot, the premise was just a little bit different than what it is now. Basically, my original idea was I was going to have Lucas do his research while searching for Godot. So he was going to interview a lot of people for their account of what's called the Divine Assistance, which is the event where Godot like revealed herself to humanity. But when I was tackling like drafts 3 and 4, I realized that was like I did not have time for it, because I was like, yeah, he's gonna go to this tavern and he's gonna interview a lot of people there. And when I was writing draft 1, by the time he got to the tavern, we were on page 50, and I was like, I have a 75-minute time limit. This needs to stay a plain one act. So if I can see the first like 2-act play that I write being a full expansion of Finding Godot. I don't really know if I want to do that anymore, though, because especially with draft 4, and working with my cast and crew, I'm like, this is the version of the story that I wanted to tell. This is the one-to-one vision. So, but definitely writing a 2-act is a challenge that I do want to take on, because that's even more of like because then it's more nuances of like, well, I have to pick a good beat to end Act 1 on to make the audience not want to leave before Act 2. And developing consistency in that area, that would be a really fun challenge that I want to tackle.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
All righty. And so you wrote this thing. Are you also directing it then? Is that all part of the senior project, that if you write it, you got to direct it? How do they work that? So
the CST senior project at USF is basically, if you are a theater major, and now if you're just this year, minors are able to take the senior project as an elective. But basically, the senior project is meant for you to show what you've learned in your years of school at USF, like through our theater major. So there's a lot of options. Like last year, Madeline from Eric, her senior project was recataloging and organizing our costume shop. There have been some dance instructives and things like that. So the project can really look any way you want it to. My senior year of high school, when I first decided to apply to the honors program, they were like, you'll have to do an honors thesis. And I was like, what would I do for my honors thesis? Could I write a play? And Dr. Bankston, who was my honors advisor while I was coming into college, she was like, yep, yeah, you can. So I was like, perfect. I'll write a play my junior year and then produce it my senior year. And I was like, well, that might not even happen. And now here we are. But like a good chunk of seniors do like to do like produce a show, and they can even be involved in that in certain elements. Like they can be the dramaturg for the production, or they can be the lead actor and have someone else direct. And you can combine projects with another CST senior. So while I was writing Finding Godot last semester, I was also taking our directing class, and I remember going into Alicia's office, and I was like, do you think, like, I was like, I need you to tell me honestly, do you think I could realistically direct, like, a senior show? And she was like, well, you're not failing the directing class. She didn't say that, but, we talked about, like, what it would look like, so we kind of used, my experience with A Night in the Woods at Corson, where I was assistant directing that, as like my litmus test to see if I like had the confidence I needed. And combining that with my experience assistant directing Small Mouth Sounds at Mighty Corson, I realized I was like, I think I'm ready like for the challenge, because I definitely think that leadership is something that I've been developing more like skills and experience in. So I wanted to put that to the ultimate test of like directing and captaining a project like this. So we have our first rehearsal back from winter break tonight, and I'm super excited about that. And my cast and crew have been really like just wonderful. I've made it very clear, I'm like, this project is meant to be like, we're putting on a show, yes, but I want this to also be like a big learning experience, because so much of my success has come from people walking alongside me and teaching me and investing in me, and I wanted to do that to my cast and crew.
I tell you, every time I talk to you, it's like, what part of theater hasn't she done? So there's the question.
Yeah.
What part of theater haven't you done?
I've dabbled in like everything. I haven't fully captained a like set design or costume design. I mean, I've made some costumes. I was part of USF's costume shop my freshman year. Finding Godot has actually been really interesting in set design, because I was like, I have these ideas for, because it's in the Jones Black Box Theater, so there is a cap to how much like set you can have.
Yeah.
But I've been working with a bunch of my people trying to be like, okay, we're going to build this and this and this, and it's like, oh, this is so fun. I have to make a list for all of the things we need, all of the pieces we need for that, the budget we have for that, when we're going to build it. So this show has basically, Finding Godot has helped me hit the mark on everything else that I haven't done in theater, except for like front of house work, kind of.
Yeah.
That's about it, like taking and being like, and that will be like $12 for that ticket, or something like that.
All right, so speaking of tickets and when it's going to take place, give us the details on that.
Okay. It is happening February 6th, 7th, and 8th at 7 o'clock p.m. And then Sunday, February 9th at 4 p.m. in the Jones Black Box Theater in the basement of USF's Jeske Fine Arts Center. And because it's a senior show, it is free. And seating is
Limited.
I'm going to do as much as I can to shove as many chairs as I can. I specifically was like, when I was creating the show, basically when you're directing a show in the Black Box, you can decide if you want to do it widthwise or lengthwise. Like if you want to have your audience sit on like along the widthway side, or if you want them looking at a specific like smaller portion of the room. And I was like, I need to do the show widthwise. So, but I'm very excited about it, and yeah.
All right. And so tickets are available. Oh, no, you said it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Wow.
Do
Do you need to make reservations for it at all, or is it first come, first serve?
It kind of is first come, first serve. I'm like, yeah. That's basically the way.
I need to get there sooner this time. I believe I was taking a gift to someone once and had to leave it because I wasn't quick enough to get to the show. But that's good. That means that people are coming and seeing these. And so, what do you have that you, besides the senior project? I'm guessing that gets you some credits, right?
Yes.
All right. What do you have beside that for the last semester of your collegiate career?
Well, I am taking digital audio for fun, just a for fun class to learn more about.
To learn how to edit the Dave Holly Hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm also taking my last gen ed, computer solutions. I saved that for last because I knew that I could fit it in wherever. And so don't come at me, Dr. Bankson. She was like, you're saving 2 gen eds for your last year. And I'm like, yeah, because I was in the theater and English gauntlet the last 2 years. I didn't have time for gen eds. But I'm also taking leadership and communication, which is the literal last theater class that I've not taken at USF yet. So that's tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. There's like 20 of us because it's for all the majors and minors. And then I have one more class.
How many credits are you taking?
12. I'm at bare minimum.
Oh. It sounds more like you're taking about 18 or 19.
Oh, good. I took 18 credits both semesters my sophomore year. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how I got through
my
that.
first semester of my junior year, I took 19.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. That, not something you really should do. It's quite a strain.
Yep. Yeah.
But you've been a very easygoing, understandable, and somebody that really has taken in college.
Yes.
And so are you finishing in 4 years then?
Yes, I am.
God bless you.
Yeah, thank
That
you.
is so rare anymore. And so great to see that, and you're going to deserve every accomplishment that you get. But what is it that you want to get after college? What's the dream job for Hope? What do you? Sorry, I got to throw in a put. What are you hoping for?
Well, playwriting has been a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be. I recently found out that I submitted Finding Godot to the KCACTF playwriting league, and I received an honorable mention for one of the awards. So that was fun. My phone was blowing up for an entire half hour after that post dropped on Instagram, but I've been very blessed with being able to pursue that sort of passion, and I'd love to keep doing it in any shape I can. Just doing any writing, theater job. I hope to keep working in community theater after I graduate, and just as long as I can tell stories, I will be happy, I believe.
I like that. Good spot to end on, except for, of course, the last question. But you've answered a few different ones. So let's see. Did we do word last time? Or did we do goals versus resolutions?
I'm a word person.
You're a word person.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your word, your mantra?
For 2025?
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
That is...
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the theme of your one-act play. All right. Finding Godot, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th?
6th, 7th, 8th,
6th, 7th,
9th.
8th, 9th. Okay, of February. And it's free.
Yes.
USF at the Jeske Theater. Go down into the basement, and you will find lots of people lined up because it's going to be wonderful. I just know it. All right, Hope, it is always such a great pleasure to have you on the show and to see you. And I see you a lot because we go to a lot of shows, and somehow you seem to be involved. Keep it up.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Here's what's playing at Trio Jazz Club this week. Tonight, it's the Bill Gibson Quartet at 6:30. Friday and Saturday nights, the Victor Cajallo Quintet with 2 shows each night, 6:30 and 9. Terry Brooks and Joel Shotwell Tuesday at 6:30. Steel Groove and Denim are scheduled for 6:30 Wednesday night. 1 week from tonight, 2 shows with the Olsen Brothers, 6:30 and 9:30. For more information, visit triojazzclub.com.
He's jazzed to the eyeballs. Once again, here's Dave Hawley. Crikey, mate.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, my goodness gracious, the hits just keep on coming, don't they? It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. Always a great time when a wonderful drummer, a great jazz enthusiast, Mr. Dan Heir, joins the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. And it's always fun to talk about jazz in general, but we've got a special event coming up tonight. It's live and local.
That's right.
Yes. You and some fine singers from Goodnight Theater Collective are getting together. So, and by you, I mean not just you drumming, but the Jazz Fellowship Center.
That's right. Yeah, we put together a nice little group to collaborate with Goodnight Theater.
I am looking forward to this show greatly because Goodnight Theater is one of those that my love and I happen to have season tickets for. I think we've only missed out of their bajillion shows now, maybe a couple.
Oh, that's great. They do a lot of shows.
Yeah,
you know?
they do.
They do a lot of great work.
Yeah, they do. And so great that we've got arts coming together for great collaborations. You know, and that's a theme on this show about it's not competition, it's collaborating.
That's right.
And it's great to see that we're going to have that. So how did this come about?
A while back, and I can't remember the exact dates, if it was like during the summer, earlier summer months, but Luke from Goodnight Theater Collective just sort of pitched the idea that Fellowship Jazz Center would want to collaborate on a show for live and local. It had to be during the application process for that series. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. And then he took care of like all the administrative stuff, you know, as far as like
nice. Yeah.
applying for that. And then it got confirmed, and then we started planning a show.
All right. So what is this show going to entail?
Well, so they got 5 vocalists, and we have 5 musicians. So that'll be a lot, and we got a couple group numbers, so there'll be 10 musicians, you know, at times on stage. And so it's a lot of, I guess it's the melding of both worlds, you know. So we'll have a couple instrumental numbers, you know, and it's going to have jazz tunes. It's going to have, you know, a lot of jazz tunes were old Broadway tunes.
Yes, they were.
And so we're playing songs from the Great American Songbook, all the way up to some more modern music that was reimagined, such as Beyonce's Crazy in Love. Not too much of a spoiler there, I hope, for tonight. But so there'll be a wide range of music.
Oh, and I'm so looking forward to this, like I mentioned, just because obviously a huge jazz fan, as you know, and also Goodnight Theater. Now, part of jazz is improvisation.
Yes, it is.
Is that going to work in with the singers?
Absolutely. You know, and so we had our first collaborative rehearsal at the time this airs on Monday night. Okay, I was going to say last night, but and so for a lot of not all of them, but a couple of the vocalists haven't sung with like a live band that involves improvisation. And so we were just kind of getting used to feeling that out, and just that way they can get comfortable with us. And it went really well. And so it was really easy. The band that we have Jeremy Haig on piano.
Oh, wow.
We have Jim Spears on trumpet.
Can't go wrong.
Joel Shotwell on saxophone. Yep. Andrew Reinhardt's on the upright bass. And as I like to say, drums and cymbals. And it flowed really nice, and everything felt very natural, especially considering many of them haven't worked with a band like this before.
Right, yeah. If they have worked, it's been, here's the way that the song goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we got to...
But there are certain, there are arrangements where the solos are built in, some of the reference recordings and all that. And so we are playing a couple of tunes form-wise pretty close to the recording.
Right.
But then we expanded some, added solos in and all that stuff as well. And so...
Oh, can't wait. All right, so that's going to be tonight at the Washington Pavilion. Main Hall or Belbus?
Belbus,
okay. Yeah,
yes.
Nice and intimate then.
Yeah. I love that theater because
I do too.
You can see, like, as a performer, you can see the audience so well, everyone, and so it's really cool. And it's like you're sort of in a small room. It's not like that small of a room. Obviously, it's somewhere around
close to 600.
I think it's 300.
Okay.
That particular theater. I believe the Orpheum's around 600.
That's what I was thinking for the 600. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really like you're really close to the audience. You can really interact because the audience is much as part of the show as well, especially with the improvisation. And so feeding off the audience energy is really great in a venue like that.
All right, so at the Belbus, and tickets are how much, and what time does the show start?
The show starts at 7:00.
Okay.
Tickets are available at the Washington Pavilion's website, and I'm pretty sure the ticket price is $20, but don't quote me on that. I didn't have to purchase one. I'm planning for the show. So.
Regardless, it's a bargain.
Yes.
In my mind, at least, that, these two groups coming together is a bargain for whatever price. And if I'm not mistaken, aren't the live and local shows also general admission?
Yes.
Yeah. So, get there early.
To get your favorite seat.
Exactly. We know where ours are.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're often for good night theater. And we'd like to, of course, keep up with everything that the Jazz Fellowship Center is doing. You're off to a bang of a start over this past year, aren't you?
Yes, I was just reminiscing for our newsletter that'll be coming out and kind of doing just like reviewing the year, as a new organization, because we launched in April, and April was a really busy month with us. But we did the Jazz Crawl last year, and that got us a Sioux Falls Stage Award nomination. Right. And then we also did like a movie at the State Theater, and then we did I guess our big event was we had over 15 musicians on South Dakota Public's Jazz Nightly for a live broadcast.
Wow.
And that was just a lot of fun. And with that, after the after party of that show, is we went and hung out at what was to become Trio Jazz Club. It was still in the build-out phase, and so it was really cool to play this show. Then we went and hung out at Bricks and got a tour of Trio Jazz Club, which obviously became an integral part of our music community here just a few months after that, in early July. And so that was a big month, a lot of education. That's a big pillar of what we want to do, and it's a big reason why Fellowship Jazz Center started. It was kind of like an extension of the Jazz Jam, being able to offer young students an opportunity to play with professionals, and not only that, but then to meet other like-minded people with similar interest, you know. And now what's really been really cool is to see all these young high schoolers becoming friends, and they're from all sorts of different high schools, and they're creating bands, you know. And then, but it's also given a chance for local professionals to come and meet, you know, each other and hang out. And I think between the Jazz Jam and Trio Jazz Clubs, it has inspired new musical projects for so many people. So it's like a big community. It's a fellowship, you know,
Right.
A network, you know, and more people can meet each other. And it's just really cool to see. Like, I've had a few drum students, you know, come out, and now all of a sudden they're gigging, you know, they're high schoolers. And it's just, it's really cool to see that come to fruition.
And thank you to Trio Jazz Club.
Yes.
Now the newest sponsor of the Dave Holly Hour, but also just for what they bring to this city in terms of the arts and entertainment, the support that they provide. And, you know, it kind of started with Our Wine Bar.
Yep.
They would have jazz occasionally and live music in general. And, you know, moved on. Now we've got Trio, and just a wonderful spot. First of all, anything that Ricardo and Mary Beth do turns out
top-notch.
well.
Yes, it does.
You know,
Yeah.
they sunk so much investment into Trio in terms of the acoustics. And it is such a great live sound. Anytime you guys are playing, or whoever happens to be in town that's playing, we love to go often and just take it in. It's such a great vibe that goes on there. And, you know, if you're an old romantic like me, I like that little half-shaped, you know, half-moon booth that's right in the middle at the back.
Oh, yeah.
And provides great being able to, you know, watch the band and catch all of it. And then also people watch to see what their reactions are.
Yep.
And I haven't seen anybody in there yet that hasn't been going, wow, this is cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they try different things. You know, Joel played, was it last weekend or the weekend before?
Yeah,
and
the
had
first
the
weekend
poets.
in January. Yeah.
And had the poets along with. That was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Absolutely loved it. All right, so the Jazz Fellowship Center, what do we have in terms of people that are involved? And, you know, is there like a membership or anything that you guys have that people can help you guys with to keep growing the educational part?
Absolutely. So we just launched this in, time blurs. I believe it was sometime right after Thanksgiving in December timeframe. Yeah, it was for the December Day of Giving is when I launched basically a tiered donation. And so I believe, I don't have it right in front of me, but the Jazz Fan, okay, so that's $10 a month.
Okay.
And that's like, hey, you're a fan of what we do, and a lot of people want to, you know, support the educational outreach as well as just the art outreach and you know, new projects, and you know, we offer a live calendar and just being able to have like a one-stop shop for that. So that's the Jazz Fan at $10 a month. Then we have the Jazz. I should really look this up right now. Oh, there we go. I believe it was the Jazz Friend. Okay. And that is $25 a month.
right.
With that comes 2 tickets, and I'll dive into this a little bit later. Or 1 ticket, excuse me, for the Jazz Friend to the Fellowship Jazz Center Orchestra concert coming up in late April.
Oh,
And-
hello.
That's right. And then I believe it's the Jazz Fanatic, if I remember right. I might have mixed those last 2 up. And that one is a $50 a month tier. And so then you get 2 tickets, some merch items, and that's you know, all this is brand new to me. So I'm learning how this goes. But we do have some subscribers, monthly donors for that. And so that has been a really, really cool way, just offering based off donations that we have received from so many gracious people. You know, it's kind of where those numbers were, you know, and it kind of in line with about $10 a month, you know, 25 or 50. And so if someone didn't want to do like a larger amount at one time, you know, then it gives them an option to do that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And so you've got some subscribers, membership, whatever you want to refer to it as.
And a monthly newsletter.
Yes.
And so we do have the monthly newsletter as well, which is, it's been nice to hear feedback from that, and a lot of, especially a lot of the kids at the Jazz Jam, like they get so excited to see what's coming, to jazz in the region. And it gives, they go out and check it out.
Before we move on, talk about some other stuff. Give us just a synopsis of Jazz Jam, when it is, and how anybody can take place and so forth, and be part of it.
Yeah, and so the Jazz Jam, many of us have. It started as a way for Joel ran it before I did, and it was basically offering something that we wish we had. Okay, growing up, and so it starts with there's a professional rhythm section. Okay, oftentimes it's myself, Brian Massick, John Kelly, but we've had different folks fill in on different instruments, like if I'm gone or if people other are gone. So there's always a professional rhythm section, and so that way, if there's anyone. Like a lot of students are learning this language. So they might be studying with Joel or Brian Hannigan or Jim Spears or just or learning tunes on their own, some jazz standards as they're learning the language. It gives them a chance to come and put into practice with a band. And because it's one thing to play something at home and with play-along tracks, and then it's another thing to get to the jam, and even as simple as oh, I have to count the tune off, or what tempo do I want it at?
Right.
How do you start the tune? How do you end the tune? And so it kind of gives them a chance to listen to professionals, how they can do that. But also, if they're leading the song, sometimes if they haven't thought through an ending, right, then all of a sudden it's oh, wait, I got to do something to end the tune. So it becomes a learning experience, and it's a very positive environment, so there's no negativity at all. I don't handle that, period, and so it's a lot of great constructive criticism, and then also just, it gives them a chance to learn. Because like I said, doing a play along track versus playing it with a band, you start to think about things like, oh, I really enjoy doing this. So, all right, the next month they come back and they're like, hey, we want the tune right here. 1, 2, ready, go, boom. Yeah. Then they're in.
And just the opportunity to be on stage in front of a live audience. Mm-hmm. The more you do that, the more comfortable you become with everything.
Yes.
And not only does your performance in terms of your style of playing, no matter what you play, but also your stage presence, and then people, especially the audience then, sees that.
Yes.
And they get into it more and applaud more and so forth. And what a great thing that you guys are doing. And when is the Jazz Jam then?
It's always the first Wednesday of the month. I forget. I think that's February 5th, if I remember right, coming up here in next month. But yeah, the first Wednesday of the month. The only time it's different generally is January. It wasn't because of the holiday, But yeah, first Wednesday of the month. You can always follow fellowshipjazzcenter.org, and we'll keep you updated.
And great updates. And by the way, after we're finished here, we'll talk about a little subscription for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome, because I say thank you to you guys. So let's talk just a little bit more about Jazz Fellowship. And so is any jazz musician in the area part of it? Or are you just automatically assuming that, or do they have to say, hey, I'd like to be part of this and do some things?
So far, it's just been, you show up and you play. We have started talking about maybe having to do a sign up, because we always get anywhere from 15 to 30 musicians, which is pretty huge. And it can be a lot to get through in one night. So we have discussed possible ways of like maybe like adding a second night, and then it might be like kind of a sign up, or at least one of the nights would be more of a sign up. I do like the idea of just being able to come, because you just never know who's going to show up, and so like I really hate putting any type of limitations, but it has become a pretty popular thing over the last few years, and I think that's due to the consistency, and just letting band directors, know, or teachers or anyone interested, we're here and we love having you, and so right now it's just come, you sign up, I have a little sign up sheet. It's always by the drums, and you put your name, instrument, and what song and or style you want to do. So if you're a rhythm section player, it's like my drummers will go, hey, I want to play a swing, or I want to play a bossa. If they're my students, I give them suggestions earlier on in the month to try something new, And so like, hey, play a waltz, Alice in Wonderland, we're going to do that one. You haven't done much in 3, and so it kind of gives them an outlet to try new styles and put it into practice.
When you were talking about, the kids and getting up on stage and, what tempo and different things like that, I'm assuming that these kids are more music fans than they would be Star Trek, or not Star Trek, but Star Wars. So May the 4th is not May the 4th be with you. To them, it's a time.
That's right.
5-4.
Some people call it Dave Brubeck Day.
Yep.
The purists call it Paul Desmond Day because he wrote Take 5. So depends who you talk to. But yes. And, that's such a great melody. So that tune is called often, at the Jazz Jam.
It's just, talk about your standards.
Yes.
That might be way up there on that list, if not the standard that people recognize.
Yeah, and going strong since 1959. Yeah. That entire album, And so, absolutely. Dave Brubeck Day.
So
Paul
tonight,
Disney.
come down to Trio Jazz Club, or tonight go to Washington Pavilion, at the Belbus for live and local. And then, live music Tuesday through Saturday night.
5 nights a week.
You can't beat it.
Nope.
It's just an amazing thing to take in. If you love Sioux Falls, you will love Trio Jazz Club. If you love jazz, you're really going to love Trio Jazz Club. If you're both, you're going to be a fanatic or whatever amount you guys want.
That's right.
For a subscription. And looking forward to that as well, but especially looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a blast. I know, quite a few of the good night people. I think all but one has been on this show prior.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And so we're looking to see a great crowd there along with us. Now, when it comes to Dan Heir playing the drums, I've not asked you this before, but do you market yourself as drums for hire?
Ha! But a lot of folks they'll say one or two things if they introduce me. Hey, Dan for hire,
Yeah.
And then as Ken Hoyne likes to say, I want to take you higher, quoting Sly and the Family Stone. And so, no, I have not actually made business cards for that. I should. That'd be fun. But yes, I always entertain offers, that come through, and I love playing music. So, if I'm available, I generally try my best to make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
are you taking any new students right now?
That I always say yes. My studio is generally pretty full. I teach at Schmidt Music, but it's always a constant flux. Because of different activities or people's schedules change. All of a sudden it's like, oh, I was told that track started yesterday. And so there's always kind of a bit of a flux. With that. So I normally always have a couple openings. Or if I don't at the time, generally, get on the wait list, and normally something opens up within a couple months. So,
all right. Okay. You've been on before, so you've answered the questions about when you're not part of the arts and entertainment, what do you like to be entertained by, those things. We just had a New Year celebration, and what is, first of all, are you a resolution or a goal setter?
In terms of New Year's resolutions, no, I don't do that. My kind of
Neither me.
My big thing is just to be better today than I was yesterday. That's my general mantra, you know. But yeah, there are goals, and if like obviously for my career, or musical goals, like, hey, what do I want to do, and then that requires a plan to make that happen. And so, yes, I do have goals, and I work on those goals consistently.
As do I.
Yes.
Yeah. One big one for this year: do not let disappointment dictate doubt, nor doubt dictate depression.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
My big one this year is I've always wanted to. Sioux Falls needs a consistent working big band, which is why big reason why we started the Fellowship Jazz Center Orchestra. And so, International Jazz Day, April 30th.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars. Tickets are not for sale yet, but we're working on it. The details will be coming out shortly. And if you really want to know, sign up for our newsletter with fellowshipjazzcenter.org. It's the first thing. If you haven't been to our website, it pops up right away. So
I'm pretty sure I already get it.
You are. You were one of the first ones.
I was going to say, I would be surprised if I wasn't. All right. Dan Heir, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And we'll see you tonight.
Yes.
Get behind your drum set and be ready.
That's right. Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you for everything you do. And it's always a pleasure to be back.
All right. And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
Arts and entertainment lovers, you hit the mark. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, you hear it coming already, don't you? Yes, it is a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire, arts and entertainment, pretty well almost every Thursday of the year. Thursday's the day that we bring the podcast to you. We do pre-record most of it, but so sometimes you may hear us make a mistake, but really it's the reason we do Thursdays. It's weekend eve. It's opening night for different things. It's also the night that they do live and local once a month at the Washington Pavilion. And we get to welcome back our friend, Jess Johannsen.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dave?
If I were any better, I'd be twins.
Oh.
There was a time when I weighed 420 pounds. Most people thought I was.
Oh, jeez.
Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see
and looking
you.
forward to seeing you tonight up on stage. Just talked to Dan Heir a little bit ago about live and local because he's part of the jazz part.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting because it's Good Night Theater Collective combining, collaborating, cooperating, whatever C word you want to use with it. You're going to have a great time with a cabaret style.
Yes.
Of jazz.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's so much fun. I'm guessing, what I know of you, that this is going to be really fun for you especially. I mean, the group, yeah, I can understand that, but knowing the types of songs that you like to sing and your style, I bet you ate this up as soon as you heard about it.
Oh, yeah. I love this kind of music. So, yeah totally up my alley. All
right, and I understand then that each vocalist is going to have two solos. So what are your two, or are you not going to let the cat out of the bag?
I'll let the cat out of the bag because I'm really excited. The first one is an artist that I've always wanted to do a song of, Rosemary Clooney, doing Mambo Italiano.
Yeah.
I absolutely love her, so I'm really excited.
Still the best version of Christmas Waltz ever by Rosemary.
Yes, she just has, her voice is so just wonderful.
Yeah.
And related to George Clooney, so how about that?
Exactly, yeah.
And then the second one is a little bit of a pivot. I'm doing a version of Crazy in Love by Beyonce.
Oh, wow.
Which, oh my, if you didn't have respect for Beyonce before,
You're
is
gonna after
a
this one?
wordy little number, let me tell you.
A lot of range to it as well?
No, actually. It's
Okay, so thank God for that.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of one note, literally, but it's kind of a, fun, creative challenge.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I'm assuming, though, that you're not just going to be on stage twice and then 2 times along with the band. You're also going to be in the background while others are having their solos.
Yes.
And what has impressed you with your rehearsals and the choice of songs that you've had? And, who's really belting it out?
Oh, gosh. Well, we have a
Besides
wonderful...
everybody in your crew.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great cast, and we've been led by Marin, who is a wonderful jazz musician in her own right. And we just rehearsed with the band this week for the first time, and it was really, really neat to see how they can just pick things up and improv and play along and play off of our, vocals. And it's going to be a very different kind of cabaret than what Goodnight's used to, but I kind of hope this opens the door for us doing more stuff like this.
Yeah, I think as soon as I saw it, it's like, oh, we have tickets yet? We must get them. General admission, by the way.
Yes, and it's not supposed to snow.
Yeah, and starts at 7. I'm assuming doors probably 6:30.
I think so, yeah.
The typical way that they do that.
So you can get your lounge drink.
Yes, and also, we're going to be out for supper with some friends prior, so.
Great.
Yeah, and we're bringing people.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I have no doubt, though, that there will be plenty because you guys always draw a crowd, and then you're going to bring a lot of jazz people in.
I hope so.
That, maybe have not seen Goodnight before.
Right.
And then after this, they're going to go, wow.
Yeah.
Those people are talented. We got to go to some of their shows, too.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things we talked about in rehearsals is how it's interesting. This cast is a lot of people who have been in a ton of stuff already with Goodnight, so half of us are going to know us pretty well.
Right.
And then there's going to be a few out there who are going to be like, oh, what are they all about? So.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great time. I just have a wonderful feeling about it. What would be the jazz song or old big band type song that you would love to have been in that era and sang?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm a big Judy Garland fan and all of those. I have a cat named Ethel Merman. So I'm anybody who's like a big voiced lady, I just absolutely love. And man, I'm going to do a little bit of a cop-out answer. When I was in college, I used to sing with a jazz band, and I used to do Don't Get Around Much Anymore as my song.
Yeah.
And I would love to dust off that little oldie again sometime.
Oh, wow. That would be a very, very cool one. Yeah, there's a lot of, people think jazz and they just think instrumentals. They don't think of the vocals very often, or even when it comes to big band. That same attitude. And it's like, no, you're missing out. There was a bunch of stuff.
I know.
Where do you think that, Sinatra got his start?
All those old radio shows.
Those radio shows and, all the old crooners.
Yes.
And, like you've already mentioned, Rosemary Clooney and, Nancy Wilson. Oh,
I know.
Love her voice.
I know. There's
you ever
so
sung
many.
any of hers?
I don't think so. No. There's only been a few recently that I've done in this kind of genre.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because it's mostly with all the cabarets
you
do for Goodnight, or it's been in a musical then.
Yeah.
And speaking of musicals, you have been in one recently.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us about that experience.
I was a mother for the first time. It was a great experience. It was Freaky Friday, the musical, over at the Premier Playhouse. Really exciting to get a chance to, sort of have a big lead part like that, but also partner with somebody as great as Kate Stahl, who played my daughter. It was a challenge just because it's a show that I didn't really know before. And it was a pretty heavy load with the music, but
Yeah,
know,
because, most people, when they hear Freaky Friday, they just think of the film.
yeah,
The movie.
pick your
and-
decade of film, but yeah.
And not a musical.
Yeah. So it was really fun, and I really liked the music, which when I found out that they were doing that show and I looked up the music, that was when I was like, okay, I have to try out for this, because it was, ballads and like really vocal heavy kind of stuff that I like to sink my teeth into. And Ben Van Moor, he was our music director, and Oliver Mays was the director, and they really trusted us with that material in a fun way. So
Yeah, they're very trusting. I've
Yes.
noticed that when it comes to the choices they allow people to make,
Yes.
and then the directions that they will go and, figure out, okay, what works, what did they do that worked, what can we do to make them better?
right.
And just a classic way that they work together. And, it's funny because I didn't have anybody on this show prior to Freaky Friday. But then I had Alex, I was talking to Alex Newcomb-Weiland not long after we had gone to it, because at first we weren't going to go and so forth. And we had actually at one point not even considered getting season tickets. And then we go to Freaky Friday, and it's like, oh my, this was fun. What a great show. And it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to be at everything again.
That's how they get you.
That's how they hook you.
Yep.
That first one. What's been the most exciting thing that you've experienced over the past 5 to 10 years in terms of being in arts and entertainment?
Well, I have to give it up again to the Premier Playhouse, because last fall they let me do a dream role of mine, which was Ursula, the Little Mermaid, and getting to just embody her in a musical that I've worshipped since I was, 3 years old was just, I feel like I kind of peaked then, but
I have the feeling you haven't hit the summit yet.
yeah, there's more nasty villains to play, I suppose, but. But I'd say that. Otherwise, there's been so many things with Goodnight that I'm proud of too. The Witch and Into the Woods. I really love doing Reefer Madness. That kind of humor is totally up my alley. And
That was really, really cute. I had no idea what the show was about prior.
oh, really?
Yeah, and just okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
A lot of different stuff going here.
Yeah,
and
kind
so
of with
true.
Freaky Friday, we sort of had an advantage with that show where not a lot of people had seen it before.
Right.
So we were kind of their first introduction to it. So kind of was exciting to hear how people reacted to those shows. So.
All right, so what's the role you're still dreaming of that you haven't played?
Oh my God. Okay, I have one. I don't know if it'll ever be done here, but I would love to be Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. And I tried to even do a little bit of her with my Ursula, where she's like
Right.
some sort of like fallen star who wants to get back into the good graces. But I just, again, that music is so heavy and wonderful, and I would love to do that. Oh gosh, other than that, I don't know. That's a tough one. I might be just drawing a blank right now, but I'm kind of game for anything that's just going to be fun that has good music. So
Yeah, and it shows when you're on stage,
Oh,
too.
thanks.
I always, that's one of the things. There are people that will be involved in dramas, straight plays, that are, very good actors. And then there will be people that are in musicals that are very good singers. But you're one of those that you have them both.
oh, thank you.
And not only that, but then it comes through as well. I see you on stage, and even if you're playing a villain, I know that this is going to be great because it's Jess Johannsen. And I can see it, even though you're not smiling or laughing. Well, maybe a sinister type laugh.
Sneering.
Sneering. There we go. Were those the actual stage directions? Sneering.
They might have been. There was a
Okay.
lot of like,
Siri.
whoop, there was,
Can I help you?
oh, Siri's with us.
Oh, my goodness.
There was a lot of, evil laugh here kind of stuff. So
Sorry, I don't understand.
me neither, Siri.
Wow. That's a new computer.
Oh, okay.
It's a new iMac, and I'm still getting used to a lot of little things.
Yeah.
And right now,
She's listening to us.
I'm turning down the volume so that we don't hear from Siri again. She didn't say anything. Just like, all the others that we have in here, the little pucks and so forth. that
Yes.
Listen to music. Those are Miss A.
Oh.
Because you say her name,
Mm-hmm.
and she immediately, oh, how may I help you?
And then you'll watch a show and they do it. And then it
Yes.
triggers.
Yeah, I know it. It's funny, isn't it?
I know. Technology's wild.
And it's crazy for sure. Speaking of technology, when it comes to musicals and so forth, in Good Night, quite often you're singing to backtracks and so forth, but you also have a great band
Oh, yes.
that you get to sing along with from time to time. And now you're going to be along with a jazz band. All right,
Yeah.
so you had brought it up that it was fun at the rehearsal to watch them get into their groove, especially when it comes to improvisation. Do you have to sit there when they're doing their improvising and go, okay, when do I come back in?
Well, there's maybe
Or-
a little bit of that, but there's a lot of eye contact.
Okay.
And Jeremy, who's our piano player, he
Oh.
kind of helps us with, giving us little hand gestures or giving us
nod.
a look like, here it comes. And-
Yeah.
but it kind of helps too that we've had the advantage as singers that we've been practicing this music since before Christmas. So
Right.
we kind of wanted to make sure we knew the ins and outs of our pieces already so we could be like, and this makes sense to come back in. So yeah, it's just a different muscle you kind of have to flex with
Right.
the live band.
Let's talk a little bit about the parallels of the people that are going to be playing in this in terms of the jazz, and then also those of you from the Good Night Theater Collective, of which there are many, that get narrowed down. You got 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's 5 vocalists and 5 musicians. So I sit there and I take a look at the people that are going to be in the jazz band, and I've seen each of them play in different things. I don't know if I've necessarily seen this particular group of 5 together at once, but I know that each one of them has played with everybody else in there. And I'm always just so amazed at how they all can work together, and they just know. When you're talking about the fact that you as vocalists have been rehearsing for some time, those are guys kind of come in and go, oh, so what are we playing tonight? What's
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the key? Yeah.
So how is that when it comes to being a vocalist, and you have so many different people that you've sung with before?
It's just, with every show, I think there's a challenge in a fun way that I love to just sort of explore and see if I can do it, kind of.
Right.
And this has been a fun challenge in that you really have to use your ear a lot. And at the same time, it also gives you a lot of opportunity to explore with different variations and like melodies and things you can do with your own like vocal line. And tonight we're rehearsing with the band once more before the show, and it'll be fun to see how much more we can play off of each other and see what just kind of gets born from this. So yeah, it's just with a backing track, it's more like memorizing like the
Right.
clicks.
Yeah.
And this more is like trying to train your ear to figure out like this is the bridge
Right.
part, and we're coming up on the verse again.
If I had written this song, where would I jump in?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Again, all of you are multi-talented.
Yeah, this
and
is
so
a great
I'm not.
cast.
I'm not afraid that it's going to be. Oh no, I'm looking forward to how it will be. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
And, I know so. I'm predicting it right now that tonight's show is going to be fantastic. The show is at 7. Doors will open probably 6:30. Tickets available at not on the box office, but online.
Yep,
with the Washington.
goodnighttheater.com as
Yes.
well.
Yep, and so you can go there, get those. They are not expensive. Again, it's general admission, so get there early. Get that drink or that double Twix, and that's Carrie's favorite.
Oh, I enjoy
But she's nice enough to share.
That's why there's 2.
And and then just sit and enjoy. And
Yeah.
get up, clap, hoot, holler, whatever you want.
And if you've been to one of our shows, again, this is a totally different vibe. We're all going to be on stage the whole time. I think we're even talking about having like a lounge sort of set up with like little tables and
then the
water
little lights
for the
on
vocalists.
top of the table. Yeah.
So kind of think of it as like a nice little like smoky lounge atmosphere, and
Excellent.
everyone else is invited to hang out in the living room with us.
Let's talk about the good night cabarets that you do.
Yeah.
And the musicals as well. But is there a cabaret that you're kind of hoping is going to be on the list some of these days?
Ooh. Well, I was talking with Haley earlier this week, and, Good Night's about to turn 10.
Yeah.
And we did our first greatest hits cabaret during the Rona.
Yeah. I call it the pandemic.
Yeah. The incident or whatever. But I would really love it if I could be involved with another greatest hits kind of thing, just to reflect on, again, how far we've come since we've started 10 years ago, and kind of revisiting some of those songs and shows that we've done before. I'm always drawing a blank when I need to like think of these things before I come here, because I'm always like, that would be a great cabaret. But they've done movies. We've done a big band one before, which I would love to do again. This time maybe with a band actually backing us. Yeah, I don't know. I think the last time I was here, I said something about like a name cabaret, because that's like a game my family plays every once in a while where we have a theme, and it was like, Layla and Oh Sherry, and like just like that might be a little too corny for where we're at now.
Lay Down Sally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Okay, and are there things that are coming up that we can see you in as well?
Right now, I'm kind of a free agent.
Wow.
I'm going to be helping out with Premiere, I hope, for some of their upcoming shows. I'm going to audition for 9 to 5, so fingers crossed that I get like an ensemble part or something in there.
I'm looking forward to that, because I know a lot of people that are auditioning for it.
I know.
It's going to be really cool.
Everyone loves the Dolly song.
Yep.
But that'll be fun, too, sorry, I'm getting a boot. Boot chewing from
Charlie. Yeah.
Just to get to sing some country. I've only ever done that really at karaoke, so it'll be fun even just for the audition to flex my twang a little bit. But yeah, other than that, it's just, there's so much stuff here in Sioux Falls that you just never really know what's going to come up. I did a monstrous show last year that I kind of auditioned for on a whim, and it turned out to be just an absolutely wonderful experience. And yeah, who knows?
That's true. Yeah. And there's so many different groups. That's one of the ways that this town has grown in the arts and entertainment community is, you've got all these different theater groups that have come about, Monstrous. You've got now the Theater Lab.
Yes.
And so there's ample opportunity, which is great now that we're at 219,000 people, and it's going to be even bigger crowds, even more opportunities, even more places that people are going to be performing. And Charlie, just stop. She's your aunt.
I think he smells
Aunt
Ethel
Jess.
Merman.
Oh, if I ever remember to do an outtakes party, that's in it. I think he smells Ethel Merman.
You had $1 every time you heard that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like to think she's listening somewhere and going, my legacy lives on.
Yeah. That's excellent. All right. Jess, it's always a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. Break a leg tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and since you have been here before, that means you've answered the, typical questions of not in the arts and entertainment. What do you like to be entertained by, etc. But now as a repeat guest.
Yes.
And we just went past the new year. Are you a resolutions or a goal setter?
Probably more resolution. And the older I get, I try to make it as vague as possible, because I feel like anytime it's too specific, I end up failing. I'm just going to try this next year to put myself out there more and just kind of be more open to what else I can do and what else can come to me, and just trying to better myself too, which is always a good thing. So again, very vague, but
it's still a great answer.
I hope so.
All right. And you are a great talent and can't wait to see you on stage tonight.
Thanks, Dave.
You bet. Thanks again, Jess. We'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XL Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xlchiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XL Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Never met a meal you didn't like. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, Hope Dunkle, Dan Heir, and Jess Johannsen. Special thanks to Trio Jazz Club for becoming a podcast partner with the Dave Holly Hour. All 261 episodes are available online at davehollyhour.com. Don't forget to use the search function for previous guests and topics. You'll also find links to Arts South Dakota and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at davehollyhour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.